I'm Town Manager Eric Peterson, and this is a summary of the Hillsborough Board of Commissioners meeting from Monday, July 14th, 2014. The first item of business for the town board was appointing Stephen Burke to the tourism board, and Stephen's got a lot of experience prior on the HDC and other things in town, so he'll be a great representative on the tourism board. Also, the town board approved a financing. We did what we call like a master lease, where we combined several different purchases into one to one debt service payment, which makes it easier and we get a better rate. So the town board approved the financing for the new one-arm garbage truck, the new vacuum leaf truck, which people love the vacuum leaf trucks, and for software upgrade in the police department, which all totaled about $599,000. And the interest rate we got was 1.5%. So we were really elated. I think that's the lowest interest rate I've ever seen in 26 years of local government. So yes, so that anyway, we'll save some money on that. The town board approved, as far as the town barn expansion goes, that we're working on increasing the size of the meeting room in the barn and increasing, just improving the acoustics and making just a better meeting space. Architect Jim Spencer, the board approved a contract with him. That architecture firm has done work in the historic district before. They did the preliminary assessment on this, so it appeared they were the best architecture firm to go forward with. So that's approved, and hopefully in the next 6 months we'll be able to make some improvements to the meeting room downstairs. Also, the town board set the, usually they don't meet in August, but they went ahead and set a meeting for August 18th. There's several different developers who are interested in coming and getting the board's feedback on what they would like to see on proposed developments in different parts of town. So August 18th, the board will meet to be able to meet with those developers and handle some other business. A really exciting piece of news. A lot of folks have been hearing about the improvements at the Old Town Cemetery downtown. Ken Ostrand has worked with town staff, Public Works Director Ken Hines, and many others, and the Alliance to coordinate. I think the first cleanup had over 50 volunteers. They did an amazing job out there. It looked so much better. And they had a second cleanup date where I think they had over 20, 25 people there. So it had raised a few issues as far as what do we want to do going forward, as far as making sure that we're properly taking care of the cemetery, the grave markers, and preserving it going forward. So we have been in contact, we meaning town staff, and Ken Ostrand had met with a tombstone preservationist who's very well known, lives in this area, we're fortunate, who gave some suggestions and guidance on a conservation and preservation and maintenance plan going forward, and also did that in conjunction with Orange County Cultural Resources Officer Peter Sandbeck. Great resource. They all recommended this conservationist, so the town board directed staff to go ahead and start working on getting a plan. But before we move forward on that, the suggestion was made, it came from several different areas. The Margaret Lane, the historic Margaret Lane Cemetery Committee suggested it, as well as some other citizens, going, we need to have expand the scope of services and maybe just have one historic cemetery committee, but to also provide support for the Old Town Cemetery, parts of the Corbin Street Cemetery, and some other parts in town. So it was a great idea to be much more efficient in the way we manage things. So town staff will work with the Margaret Lane Cemetery Committee and others to come up with a new charge and basically a new charter for the committee. So that's the first priority. I know Public Works Director Ken Hines is already starting to work on that. And once the new committee gets appointed, which will probably be bigger since they have more ground to cover, then they'll work on getting the conservation plan in motion for the Old Town Cemetery, and there's a lot of issues to deal with there. So that's exciting and helping protect some of our most important resources in Hillsborough, and it's also a big tourist attraction. The recent discovery of the cannonball in the river that is near Gold Park but not in Gold Park, and that somebody had found, as well as the fragments of the James Hoggs cemetery marker that were picked up. We just want to really encourage, and we're going to try to do a better job of just reminding citizens, if you happen to see or stumble upon some interesting find that is an artifact or a cultural resource, leave it alone and notify somebody from the town or Peter Sandback from Orange County, so we can bring some experts in, because it is a lost opportunity when you remove these artifacts, as far as being able to study them and learn what else might be there. There can be damage to those, to the artifacts. So we just encourage people. It's exciting if you stumble upon these things, but please let us know. And we'll move forward on that. So we're also working on some additional ways to inform the public and continue to get that word out, especially with Riverwalk coming on and the cemetery traffic. So the big item for the evening was the discussion about the Colonial Inn. And sort of coincidentally, a few months ago, the Historic District Commission had indicated a desire to have a joint meeting with the town board, which they do periodically over the years, and just wanted to get an update on the status of the Colonial Inn, since not a lot has appeared to have changed as far as the status and condition of the building. So this meeting had been set for a few months, and of course by coincidence, people that have been following it, the owner of the inn has submitted a request for demolition of the inn. That, and Mayor Stevens did an excellent job at the beginning of the meeting letting everybody know that since that would be what they call a quasi-judicial hearing, which they basically follow proceedings that would happen in a courtroom, that where people present evidence under sworn testimony, that will all happen on August 6th. The Historic District Commission, the HDC, will hold that hearing on August 6th and welcome evidence from both the applicant and citizens sharing information. So it was basically would be inappropriate and illegal to discuss any details relating to that at this meeting, so there was no discussion about that whatsoever. All the discussion focused on what has happened since the early 2000s on efforts as the prevention of demolition by neglect process has gone underway. And as citizens who are aware, the town has multiple times made efforts to enforce the prevention of demolition by neglect, require enough work to be done on the end to prevent the decay further, whether it's on the roof or the siding or foundation or other things. So Town Attorney Bob Hornick spent a fair bit of time and went through the overview, answered questions from the town board and the HDC members, and entertained ideas about what were options going forward. But that's pretty much where the discussion was contained. So of course the next big milestone relating to the Colonial Inn will be the August 6th HDC meeting. But that pretty much covered all the major points from the meeting. If citizens have any questions about the meeting, they can go to the town website and look at the agenda link, which will have a lot more detail on these and other items, or they can feel free to email or contact any town staff, and we will work hard to get the right answers for them and point them in the right direction. So, thank you.